Hello, everyone. As you might know, I tested positive for COVID yesterday, so I can't be there with you in person this evening. On a personal note, I want to say how sorry I am about that. Speaking out alone in solidarity with the people of Palestine is important, but it's so much more important to speak out together. And tonight, that's what we're trying to do. Thank you so much for being there, to raise your voices against ethnic cleansing and genocide, to grieve together, to protest, but also to celebrate Palestine and Palestinian culture. On that note, I want to share with you a reading from a short story by the writer Ghassan Kanafani. For those who don't know, Kanafani was born in Palestine in 1936 and was forced to flee with his family in the Nakba of 1948. In adulthood, he became a committed Marxist and a spokesperson for the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, as well as a renowned writer of fiction. I would like to read to you an excerpt from Kanafani's story, Letter from Gaza, first published in 1956 and translated into the English by Hilary Kilpatrick. This story takes the form of a letter sent by our narrator to his childhood friend, Mustafa. The two of them have always planned to emigrate together to the United States, and Mustafa is now in California, waiting for our narrator to join him. Just before this excerpt begins, our narrator, who has been based in Kuwait, learns that Gaza has been bombarded once again by the Israeli army. He returns there and goes to visit his 13-year-old niece in hospital before his planned emigration to the USA. That evening, I bought a pound of apples and set out for the hospital to visit Nadia. I knew that there was something about it that my mother and my sister-in-law were hiding from me. Something which their tongues could not utter, something strange which I could not put my finger on. I loved Nadia from habit, the same habit that made me love all that generation, which had been so brought up on defeat and displacement that it had come to think that a happy life was a kind of social deviation. What happened at that moment? I don't know. I entered the white room very calm. Ill children have something of saintliness, and how much more so if the child is ill as a result of cruel, painful wounds. Nadia was lying on her bed, her back propped up on a big pillow, over which her hair was spread like a thick pelt. There was profound silence in her wide eyes, and a tear always shining in the depths of her black pupils. Her face was calm and still, but eloquent, as the face of a tortured prophet might be. Nadia was still a child, but she seemed more than a child, much more, and older than a child, much older. Nadia. I've no idea whether I was the one who said it, or whether it was someone else behind me. But she raised her eyes to me, and I felt them dissolve me, like a piece of sugar that had fallen into a hot cup of tea. Together with her slight smile, I heard her voice. Uncle, have you just come from Kuwait? Her voice broke in her throat, and she raised herself with the help of her hands and stretched out her neck towards me. I patted her back and sat down near her. Nadia, I've brought you presents from Kuwait, lots of presents. I'll wait till you can leave your bed, completely well and healed, and you'll come to my house and I'll give them to you. I've bought you the red trousers you wrote and asked me for. Yes, I've bought them. It was a lie, born of the tense situation. But as I uttered it, I felt that I was speaking the truth for the first time. Nadia trembled, as though she had an electric shock, and lowered her head in a terrible silence. I felt her tears wetting the back of my hand. Say something, Nadia. Don't you want the red trousers? She lifted her gaze to me and made as if to speak, but then she stopped, gritted her teeth, and I heard her voice again, coming from far away. Uncle. She stretched out her hand. lifted the white coverlet with her fingers, and pointed to her leg, amputated from the top of the thigh. My friend, never shall I forget Nadia's leg, amputated from the top of the thigh. No, nor shall I forget the grief which had moulded her face and merged into its traits forever. I went out of the hospital in Gaza that day, my hand clutched in silent derision on the 2 pounds I had brought with me to give Nadia. The blazing sun filled the streets with the colour of blood. And Gaza was brand new, Mustafa. You and I never saw it like this. The stone piled up at the beginning of the Shajia quarter where we lived had a meaning, and they seemed to have been put there for no other reason but to explain it. This Gaza, in which we had lived, and with whose good people we had spent 7 years of defeat, was something new. It seemed to me just a beginning. I don't know why I thought it was just a beginning. I imagined that the main street that I walked along on the way back home was only the beginning of a long, long road leading to Safad. Everything in this Gaza throbbed with sadness which was not confined to weeping. It was a challenge. More than that, it was something like reclamation of the amputated leg. I went out into the streets of Gaza, streets filled with blinding sunlight. They told me that Nadia had lost her leg when she threw herself on top of her little brothers and sisters to protect them from the bombs and flames that had fastened their claws into the house. Nadia could have saved herself. She could have run away, rescued her leg, but she didn't. Why? No, my friend, I won't come to Sacramento, and I've no regrets. No, and nor will I finish what we began together in childhood. This obscure feeling that you had as you left Gaza, this small feeling must grow into a giant deep within you. It must expand. You must seek it in order to find yourself here among the ugly debris of defeat. I won't come to you, but you return to us. Come back to learn from Nadia's leg, amputated from the top of the thigh, what life is and what existence is worth. Come back, my friend. We are all waiting for you.